Are you ready to buy your next property, but you're not sure if you should go to your bank or to a mortgage broker? Well, we're talking about that today, and we don't have a banker in sight, and we don't have a mortgage broker in sight. In fact, we're talking from the perspective of us as agents, as in our own lives, as well as the lives of our clients, and we're going to figure this out and give you some tips and some insights into this bank versus mortgage broker world right after this. Hey everybody, my name is Jared Chamberlain, and I am joined today by the wonderful Paul Moyer.
That's correct.
That is correct. Today we are talking about banks versus mortgage brokers. It's like an old age, except I don't even know how long mortgage brokers been around, but it's a battle. It's something that you as a buyer, especially for a first time, and sometimes for your second or third homes, if it's been a while, you don't know where to go. And we get this question all the time. Should I go to my bank? Should I go to my mortgage broker? There are pros and cons to both, but Paul had a fantastic story about one of his clients who went to the bank first and got pre-qualified, but it wasn't for enough. It wasn't like you couldn't really get anything for it, and then ended up working with one of our mortgage brokers, and through some creative ways and different products was able to actually find a house. And this person, just your buyer, just closed on it. So let's jump in. I want to hear this story because I think a lot of people are in the same place. A lot of people are in the boat where they actually don't know whether to go. And a lot of times they ask the question, isn't it easier to get a mortgage from my own bank? And that's not always the case.
Definitely not always the case. I definitely find that mindset comes into play a lot with first-time home buyers especially.
Well, because there's safety.
There's safety with someone right? You know. You've been with a bank maybe for 5, 10, 15, 30, 60 years.
Yeah.
And you think they know everything about you.
Yeah.
They know your income because you're putting money into the bank account.
Yeah.
They know where your investments are, where your debts are if you have any, and what that may be. So for a lot of people, that is the easier first choice is let's go to my bank first.
But the reality is that isn't always the case. Like you still have to submit paperwork. You still got to get all that stuff to the mortgage individual at the branch. And you're tied to a branch. And I think what's interesting is if you have a really clean situation where it's one income, two incomes, really, really simple, not a lot of debt, going to the bank could be a very simple solution.
Absolutely.
But if you end up having other things that are happening in your world where, like you said, like if it's not a part of your T4, and it's other income coming in, and that could potentially be spousal, could be kid stuff, could
passive
income, could be rental properties. There's lots of different things. Some banks can't count that towards your income in qualifying for a mortgage. So you had your client, they went to their bank, and what happened?
Yeah, so a short part of the story is prior to us ever being in contact with them, my client went out to their bank.
Yeah.
They went to speak with them. They were sick of renting. They were sick of being in that, paying someone else's mortgage every single month, and were ready to make that purchase themselves. They had a down payment in place. They had money saved up for that house they wanted to buy. So they went to their bank that they had been with for the last 30 years.
Yeah.
They showed up at the bank and got a number around $175,000 is what their bank could do.
Right.
If you've tried to buy a house in Calgary for around $175,000, you've either not been successful or paid cash and bribed someone off.
Yeah, well, even then, like, that's not even land value in a lot of areas, right?
You're hard pressed to even find land for that price at this point in time. And this client needed at minimum 4 bedrooms.
Wow.
So when you're looking for bedrooms, your suburbia apartments aren't even an option at that point.
No.
So the first thing I actually did after meeting this client is listen to their needs and sympathize with them, as $175,000 wasn't going to get them anywhere near what they needed.
Yeah.
I connected them with one of the mortgage brokers that we work very closely with.
Yeah.
That helped us out a lot on a lot of these situations. And they were actually able to take a few of her lucrative but not illegal income streams.
Yeah.
And they were actually able to use that towards her pre-approval.
Yeah.
So she was given around 175 from the bank. After talking to the mortgage broker and taking those additional income sources into account, she walked out being told she could spend up to 300,000.
Yeah.
So that's
crazy.
Almost twice as much.
Yeah. Well, and why that is because so many banks only have, I don't know the actual number of mortgage products they have, but let's just say they have 5, right? They might have 5 mortgage products. And if you don't fit cleanly into any of these products, then it's going to be kind of hard, right? Because then for your buyer's situation, they fit into this one, let's say, but it was only up to 175 because they couldn't do it. So a mortgage broker can actually take the same information and go to other lenders that aren't a part of the big 4 or 5 banks, and start going into some of these, not even secondary lenders anymore. They're still good rates, they're still good things, but there are banks that will take in, like this case, a rental income as part of her income, because it is income to her. And so now she can count that towards what she's approved for. And so that makes a big difference. And the only reason I think someone should really consider the bank is unless it's simple, it's easy, or you go there and you get a good pre-approval and you're happy with it, then stick with it. We're not knocking banks. What we are saying is there's other options out there. And so the other thing that I was thinking too is with banks, there are certain products, and if you want something, so RBC, for example, has called a home line plan, where you can have portions of your mortgage in fixed and some in variable and some in a line of credit.
Yeah.
Scotiabank has something similar. I can't remember the name of it, Step Line or Step Program or something, but you can do something similar like that too. And so unless you're looking for something like that and you have to go there directly, then that's sometimes your only option.
Absolutely. And there's a few of those situations, like RBC, for example, that a lot of mortgage brokers can't deal with.
That's right.
So mortgage brokers, while they do have a very large portfolio as far as which lenders they're able to use, there's a very limited selection that they aren't able to. So there is situations where the bank may be the right fit for someone.
Yeah.
But the options are a lot greater with a mortgage broker.
Yeah. So if you're in a situation where you really want to go to your bank and you want to work with the bank that you know and trust, then reach out to us or put in the comments, because we do have some fantastic individuals. There's one lady that we've personally worked with at Royal Bank. She is unbelievable. We have connections at directly at TD, Scotia, BMO, ATB, and we have some great connections in there. But I want to give a big shout out to the mortgage brokers, because without mortgage brokers in our world, and them building relationships and connections to these other lenders, it'd be really hard for some people to purchase a property. And so, how happy is your client?
Yeah, my client is over the moon excited. I hear on a daily basis since her purchase just how excited she is and how thankful she is that we connected her with that mortgage broker.
Yeah.
And we will share those contacts with you guys as well. We'll drop them below in the comments.
Yeah.
A few of the suggestions of people we work closely with as far as mortgage brokers go.
Yeah. Absolutely, we will. So that's what we have for you guys. So I know this is like a big battle, and we're not knocking one and praising the other. It depends on your situation. But mortgage brokers typically can, if it's a good mortgage broker, come up with a lot more options if you have kind of a sticky situation or a different situation. Not even sticky. It's not even bad. It's just different. So after all of that, find someone that works well with you. Build trust with them and talk with them and figure it out. So that's what we have. So again, we're going to put that information down in the comments with a couple of the mortgage brokers we work with. If you want direct connections with anyone in the banks, when you're looking to buy, we have some of those as well. We'd love to share. Just reach out to us at info@chamberlaingroup.ca or 587-316-5400. And that is what we have for today. So thank you so much for sharing this with us, Paul.
Absolutely. And I hope we can hear more experiences like this from more clients in the future.
I agree. So good. Thanks, guys. We will see you later.